swap in, and I believe we are broadcasting.
Hey,
Let's
hey, y'all.
go.
There it is. Awesome, awesome. And we're almost becoming like a professional setup here. It's crazy.
Just about. Just
We're
about.
we're making it. I know what Rod, you were talking about a new microphone, new camera.
Ooh.
Yes.
I'm thinking
New toys for
new
you?
toys.
Trying
I
to,
like
yeah,
it.
get this YouTube game going. Mostly, for my other project, but this as well I think would be fun, especially if we start doing like some of the ideas we had.
Hmm.
So yeah, definitely. It's just all an investment. That's the only
I
thing.
like it.
Yeah.
No new toys
So
over here for me, guys.
I was
Still
gonna
the
say,
same old setup over
Same
here.
old setup. Hey,
Oh, yeah.
yeah.
if
I
it
mean,
ain't
I've been
broke.
going to the gym. Yeah, I've been going to the gym every day looking for like a sugar mama just to kind of like help expedite this
No
Ooh.
process.
luck,
So
bro. You haven't had anyone come up to you and hit on you or anything?
I have, but they ain't got money. I need
I
like
did.
a mentor.
I
But you
if you
know,
find one, see if they have a sister. Just let me know.
like, ah, I
I'm
mean, like, how
taking.
you know? Do they bring bank statements with them? I mean,
I
how
was
do you
gonna say,
know?
I'm taking applications. I need to know your net worth,
Little
uh,
credit score check.
credit score, all that good stuff.
You know, we live in this day and age, so I'm here for
Papa
it.
needs a microphone.
Oh my gosh. That's too funny. Too funny.
So we got
Guess
Travis
what,
Hung,
people?
we got working out raw, and then I don't know about me. I've been
Yeah,
boring
what's happening, Bill?
little thing or two on the broadcast itself. So
Cool.
still getting that all figured out. And luckily, like I need to upgrade my computer desperately for these kind of things. And luckily, like all the prices for that stuff starting to come down after people are done trying to mine for cryptocurrency as much.
Oh my God.
Thank
Oh
goodness.
my
So
gosh.
I might finally like put together a decent computer too for it, and which will be really exciting.
Hey, hey.
There we go.
Which obviously I'm doing it only for the podcast and in no way, shape, or form for video games. Let's just be very clear about
Right.
that.
Right.
Right.
Hey,
Whatsoever.
whatever it takes.
Whatever it takes.
Uh-huh. Whatever you
Oh
say.
man. Yeah. Outside of that, all that stuff though, I mean, just busy with work. Nothing too exciting. We did go to our very last Sporting Kansas City game as season ticket members though this past weekend, and we
Oh
Oh.
won.
yeah, you have to give it up.
Yeah, we won, which is awesome. We won against a rival who needed to beat us to go to the playoffs, so that feels even
Hmm.
better. It's great way to end it. So um,
Awesome.
I'm sure we'll go to games here and there, but yeah, no, just getting it down to just one set of tickets feels really good.
Oh, I bet.
All right,
Well,
shall
Hung, how
we?
are you feeling? I know you had to get an adjustment after I whooped you in
Oh,
fantasy.
man. Yes, and I'm sure we'll touch on it. Raw whooped me in fantasy this weekend, but is not the reason why I tweaked my neck and my back and ended up having to visit the chiropractor. It was my very first time visiting a chiropractor. So yeah, I actually went and got an adjustment, and then I decided to go ahead and get a massage and some cupping done. I feel like a whole new
Nice.
woman.
Oh,
And a
all
whole
right.
spa
Yes,
day, whole
yes, yes.
recovery day.
So
That's what's up.
full recovery day for sure.
Treat
Those are
Versus,
yourself.
needed, much needed.
oh yeah,
Treat yourself. Outstanding.
oh yeah. Wait. No, it's not treat yourself. It's just maintenance.
Maintenance.
It is
Got to
just
make time
maintenance.
for it, or your body will
There
make time for you.
it
There we
is.
go. Exactly.
Oh man, yes.
So,
All right. So what I have for our little overview here is that I mean, apparently the Chiefs played the Buccaneers, so I guess we can talk about that. Um,
Yeah, I was gonna say, I think yeah, we had a game last
yeah, a little bit of a
Sunday
game.
night.
sure
Let's
did.
go
Was
ahead
it a
and
game or
skip
was
over
it
to
just
that.
a stomping?
Brutal beating is how I would describe it, and I like that.
Could have been
Say
worse.
I,
Could
it's
have been worse
delicious.
had we just kept the boot down the entire time. But you know how we kind of sometimes let up a little bit, have a
but
little
Yeah,
bit of
just a little
mercy.
bit.
And so how do you and especially in a game like this when we're playing the team that destroyed us in the Super Bowl as well as playing Tom
Uh-huh.
Brady, would you prefer risk it for the biscuit and just like really lay down the law, or are you okay with a little bit of that foot off the gas?
No, I would have preferred that we kept our foot against their neck the entire
Just
time.
oh, I love that. Bloodthirsty.
Oh my God, exactly. Because that's the
Fantastic.
thing. That's just like when we were watching the Bengals in week 1 of the season go, and we are watching them with our mouths gaping open, going, "What the heck? We lost to this team in the
Uh-huh.
AFC Championship."
Hmm.
Similar feels, right? I'm like, come on. And I know this was like as opposed to like the AFC Championship game, that Super Bowl with the Bucks was a little bit longer ago, but still, like so I was like, yeah, let's just keep our foot on their throat the entire time, which we did not do the entire time,
Mm-hmm.
but still, I was pretty dang pleased with our performance overall.
Yeah, yeah, I'm with Han because I would say if I trusted this team to do games where we could just manage the clock a little bit, that'd be one thing. But we
Mm-hmm.
Hmm.
all we always seem to do that during inopportune times, especially like playoff
Hmm.
games.
Mm-hmm.
It's just like, you know
I'm
what?
with
They
you.
just need to get out of that practice, period.
Good. Yeah.
Just no
Get away
mercy.
from that. I think one of those stats that's really screaming to me before we like dig into the game, I'm talking about relating this to the Super Bowl, right? Is that in that Super Bowl, we gave up 3 sacks, but it felt like Mahomes existed purely to run around in a circle, just trying to avoid defenders that entire game. If I can't even remember, but he ran something like 120, 140 yards just scrambling. Was that it? Like, not even getting past the line of scrimmage, just from running away from defenders in that Super Bowl. And of course, we only end up scoring 9 points in that game. Um,
Yeah.
Yeah.
Fast forward to this Sunday, though, again, exact same amount of sacks allowed, 3 of them, and quite roughly, if I'm recalling correctly, same amount of like percentage blitz on plays and pressures, things like that. The big difference is you could feel that difference in the offensive line and the fact that they could pick up that pressure, pick up that blitz. Okay, 3 sacks allowed, sure, but the difference was on the plays where he wasn't getting sacked, he had the time to make a play happen, or
Right.
was able to adjust accordingly, trust on the offensive line to not just protect him in the pass, but I mean, our run game, that's something I put on our bullets here, and I would love to talk about later. Our run game was just out of this world in this past game, I feel.
Hmm.
All these things that like just like watching what was it, the Bengals in the very first game of this season, and you're just like, if we had any form of pass rush, we would have been in the Super Bowl last year. Watching this game with our offensive line difference against a relatively the same Buccaneer team, you're just like, if we had this, we're looking at 2 rings on Mahomes' fingers, I think.
100%.
Yeah, and I can't sit on
100%.
that too long because yeah, it's like, oh my word, it puts you in your feels. Yeah.
Right. It's something. Biggest news though, outside the literal game itself, is 20,000 passing yards.
Whoop whoop! Congratulations!
Big, big. 4 games
Big time.
faster, yeah, than Stafford. I mean, I jokingly put on here hardly news. I don't think it's that much of a surprise that he became the fastest to 20,000. Um, by any means, I'm not trying to downplay the achievement, but we've always
Hmm.
known he's going to be the guy who's going to start, making those passing records that
Right.
currently exist, a thing of the past. It's cool to see him do it against Tom Brady, though, I think.
That's the thing
Yeah.
with Mahomes. Like, it's just he does all this crazy stuff that we don't mean to, but we like downplay some of his accomplishments because it's like we're used to him just being just so ridiculous.
Hmm.
Like anybody else, you'd be like, "Oh my gosh, that's crazy." But Mahomes is just like, "Yeah, of course he did it." You know what I'm saying? Like
Hmm.
it's just
Right.
yeah. So yeah, it is I mean, it's like a huge accomplishment. Obviously we would expect that from him, especially if yeah, you said Matt Stafford, which I mean, he's a good quarterback, but yeah,
Now
not
last
surprised.
weekend he wasn't.
Well,
Don't, yeah,
yeah, well,
don't. No, that's
yeah, yeah, yeah.
let's
I didn't
not.
I didn't
I
watch
don't. I
that
don't want.
game. I just saw
I don't
I
need
saw
that
the
right now.
score. Oh,
Oh
is he
man.
crazy or what?
It's well, it wasn't just it was who he was throwing to as the biggest issue for me. So
Got
we'll
you.
we'll cover that in the fantasy section. I'm a little
Okay,
sad.
got
Yeah,
it, got
yeah.
it,
We'll
got it.
save
Yeah,
we'll
I
Um,
save
couldn't
that.
help
We'll
it.
save
I couldn't
that.
help
no,
it
I
since
can't. I
you're,
can't. I can't blame you. I would be saying the
Yeah.
same thing. What was I thinking? Yeah, and I think the big difference between him and Stafford is like Stafford had Megatron to throw to, who
Yes.
Mhm.
could be double covered and it doesn't matter. It looks like he's out there alone. Um, which not to take away from Stafford. I love Stafford as a quarterback and he's been a lot of fun to watch. It's just I did when you have Megatron, it's hard not to set that 20,000 record. Now,
Right.
I mean,
True.
of course, Mahomes has had Kelsey and Hill, but what we've seen this season that's been talked a lot about a lot more than has been talked about in other seasons is how often Mahomes passes the ball around.
Mm-hmm.
Um, you know,
And straight around.
Hill and Kelsey have been the face of our franchise receiving core there, so everyone just assumes that's where all the ball's going to. But ever since, yeah,
Sure.
Mahomes started, everyone gets a couple of attempts to catch a ball. So he's doing it by giving it little piece of the love to everyone.
Absolutely.
And
I
that's
think
so fun to see. It's
yeah,
so fun, you guys.
absolutely. I think it reminds me of like, his first starting season, like 2018, like people forget like he was dishing the ball around. You had D Rob getting plays, you had Watkins, you had the sausage getting
Oh
in the end
God,
zone,
sausage.
you know? Yeah,
Miss
so
that
he was
guy.
he was doing that before, and then it's just kind of like in the system a little bit more. Obviously, Kelsey and Tyreek are your most consistent guys, and I think for a while it started to lean heavily on them, especially when you had a lot of drop passes and kind of these last couple seasons. But yeah, just kind of not having Tyreek there. He's kind of getting back to that form again. I mean,
Hmm.
obviously Kelsey's good for Kelsey's gonna do his thing, but it's nice to kind of see that little bit of variety. You see Juju making plays, you see CEH making plays, you see MVS making plays. We have some complicated names on this team.
Yeah, we do.
I'm just
You're doing a good job, though. Keep it up. Keep it up.
yeah,
Let's keep
Throw George
going.
like
Karloftis in there.
Yeah, I'm
everyone's
waiting
got
for
like
the
three
running backs.
names.
Yeah, can you talk about the running backs real quick? Um,
Yeah. Oh, I would not.
I no,
I'm gonna let
yeah,
you say his name.
right. Oh yeah,
Yeah.
we'll see.
He's doing good too.
We'll see pull that. No, you're right. Like you expect. It's one of those things like you expect Kelsey to have 100 yards, and then the question is where will the other 100, 150 yards of Mahomes' passing go to? And
Right.
yeah, it's just you don't know, and so defenses are going to have a problem. Thankfully.
Absolutely. Yeah, it's
I'm
been
okay
fun.
with that. Oh, yeah.
Keep them
Who do you
guessing.
cover? Pick somebody.
Devin
Yeah.
White.
Good luck.
Oh,
How do you guys feel about the special teams? Do you think are we back to where we should be? Are we exceeding expectations after that rough week last week, or is it just like too soon to tell?
oh. We got
They
the right Matthew currently.
Yeah. So, speaking,
See what I did there?
do either of you even know what's going on with Butker? Like, is there a timeline for his return? Because I've not been paying attention
We
whatsoever.
don't. We don't have a timeline because, as
yeah,
far
there's
as we know, there's just this ankle thing. He's not on IR, so he's still like day to day, week to week.
It's crazy. I don't know.
So,
Um,
no, I mean,
yeah.
if you
Sorry.
have other insider info, but that's all I got. That's all I can perceive.
yeah, he actually told me, yeah, he's like he's getting there.
Sweet. And
I
when
spoke
we
to
were
him.
chatting last night during the
Right,
game,
He
having a couple
Snapchatted
of
you? Okay,
brews.
I got you.
yeah. I tweeted at him and then he didn't respond to it, but he liked the different tweets. So that's basically like the code.
Uh-huh.
He's
Okay,
on his way
gotcha.
back, people. Don't worry. Is what he was saying.
Love
Thank
that.
you, Rob, for that official report.
Yeah,
That's
top
in no way,
secret.
shape, or form, yeah, fake at all.
No, it's good journalism, is what it is.
There we go. Exactly. In 2022, that is good journalism.
Oh
Everything's
my God.
clickbait now.
Um,
Anyway, that's neither here nor there.
yeah, Wright himself, I feel, I mean, did good. Okay, he made two field goals. You would expect that, with the longest one being 44
Okay,
yards.
you would expect
Sure.
that, but the other Matthew did not such a thing.
Yeah, I just refuse to acknowledge his existence now.
Okay, all right, that's fine.
Because of my feeling towards kickers in general. But also, being able to nail through 5 extra points, which you just would hope is a given, but my lord, it never is it? Um,
Mm.
but that, that's the only thing. All right, great. He's meeting expectations.
For sure.
The returns, though, on the return side, there weren't a whole lot of punts in this game. Um, if I'm remembering, like there was like what 3 or 4 by the Bucks, and we only punted once.
Yeah, I
Um,
was gonna say not till the fourth quarter, right?
yeah. Um, Moore didn't make any knucklehead plays like he did the week before, so that's good to see, I would say. And then on the kick return side of the ball, I mean, hell, we almost had that a touchdown return, which was awesome.
Right.
Until a kicker tackled him. So again, ban kickers. Um, sticking with that one. So I guess like overall, looking at the special teams, I'm going into next week happier. But in a way that I think like last week was such an anomaly that I didn't expect it to repeat. I'm just glad that the issue was clearly addressed, not just by the on the kicking side of the ball, but also on the receiving side of the ball.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. As they say on the radio, the Chiefs play weird games. It's been consistent every season so far. Like, so we got one of the first ones out of the way. I do expect we'll probably have another one this year at some point.
Yeah, we're going to have one that like it just absolutely ruins my hopes of any fantasy championship, I'm sure.
Crap games.
That's usually how it goes, right?
That's how it goes. Can't wait for it. Other than special teams, do we talk about the running game here? What are the thoughts?
Let's do it.
I
am
About the
still
run game.
pleased. I am still extremely pleased, extremely pleasantly surprised at how much we are utilizing it and how
Yes.
good our back group looks.
They look
I feel
so
like every
great.
single one of them are running like strong or running well. Like Clyde is looking the way we expect Clyde to see, as we've mentioned in these first couple of weeks here.
Mhm.
Isaiah Pacheco, he is amazing. What's
Yeah.
his name, Billy?
Pacheco, you nailed it. I don't know. Did you nail it? I'm just copying you and hoping for the best.
I think,
God.
said it right. Sounds right. Isaiah.
Patience in waiting for the hole to be created, for the line to hold for him. He looks so good. They all look really good. It's fun to watch them run.
Absolutely.
It's not painful.
Mm-hmm.
Absolutely. It look good. It gives me kind of, like I said, that back by committee. I've never really had a problem with that. I liked when we had, Spencer Ware and Sharkhandrick West. That was kind of the thing with those two for a while. Spencer was, obviously the dominant one. But, that's kind of how we ran it. And it did work for us before. And I would say that Rojo is probably out of a job.
I'm waiting for the trade news. Yeah, frankly.
Yeah, because I think I'm thinking now. I mean, it was probably obvious then, but he was definitely an insurance pickup. You know what I'm saying? Like they probably didn't have. They wanted to see what Clyde was going to do this year, just based on his performances, previously. And he's stepping up. He's looking like how we expected him to look. I think Pacheco was probably a surprise, but he's definitely emerging. And it's not looking too good for Rojo. Even number one, I'm blanking on his name right now.
McKinnon.
Yeah, McKinnon's getting busy in there. So it's I think the Rojo as the Chief legacy or whatever you want to call it. I think that's probably going to come to an end real soon.
Yeah, and I'm not mad about that. I mean. Yeah, I know we spent money to get him and everything, and it was like, okay, let's see what he can do. But we have a core that we're utilizing, and they're doing a good job. They are being
utilizing.
Very efficient. And
Andy,
exactly.
Do this every week.
Let's see more of it. Absolutely. Stat-wise, we're looking at 189 yards rushing total by the team. All of that came from three players. Noah Gray had one rush for 1 yard, McKinnon two rushes for -1 yard. So that doesn't look great, but yeah, CH came in
Right.
with 92 yards on 19 carries. Like that's just workhorse status right there, and I love it.
Oh yeah.
Right.
And the I
Versus what?
oh
-3 yards
by Tampa Bay,
uh
period. Yeah, right. No, Leonard Fournette had -3, and then Rashad White had a total of 6. So they came out of
yes.
that game with 3 rushing yards. Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, for CH, it come in there 92 yards and a touchdown too, which I think is the huge thing because
A beautiful touchdown.
exactly. Because we get those touchdowns from the passing game, even by our running back. So nice to see, it work on the ground this time. Pacheco came in with 63 yards. They're both averaging right around that 5 yard mark, which is awesome. I mean, Mahomes blew him out on the average front with 8 yards average, but you know, he had some pretty fun runs to watch too. And it's always funny whenever
Absolutely.
I don't know if I've talked about this, but it's always funny whenever Mahomes is on the screen and scrambling and running while I'm watching the game with Kate, because she thinks his run is just the funniest thing in the world. Like he
It
runs
is.
He's
the
really
way,
the
Have you
only
seen it?
one. Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah.
the way it's like she describes it is like it's like he has a quarter between his butt cheeks and he's trying not to drop it while running, and
Oh my
it's
God.
just like that's it. I'm never gonna not see that, and
Oh my
and it
God.
works because he's just like he's making moves. It's wonderful.
He looks like he's running toward the restroom. But yeah, he's getting yards while doing it. So
Oh man,
hey,
yeah.
whatever works.
Whatever you need to do, dude, for you to make those passes or make those first downs, I'll take it. Um, yeah,
Right.
so I really like seeing the fact that we do have a run game. Then
Absolutely.
Well, and I feel like in previous seasons, I felt like we had a run game, but it just was not utilized. So, coach, I appreciate whatever it is that you are going through and and doing.
Yeah, keep doing it. Well, I think. Do you guys think it has anything to do with Matt Nagy being back on the sidelines?
Perhaps.
maybe,
Because, I mean, if you think about coaching changes, that's definitely one of them.
and Lord knows I have no idea how a coaching staff works in the NFL. And he's in the QB room. Is it a case?
Hmm.
Do you think it's a case like he's helping influence the play calling to promote run plays, or a case where he's worked with Mahomes to audible whatever plays on the line to a run play when it needs to be a run play?
Could be a mix of both. I mean, kind of,
Hmm.
a little speculatory, but just the fact that he used to be the offensive coordinator and, he's back with us now as QB coach, but I'm sure he's had some input on the offense since he's been back, having been the coordinator before him.
I can't even speculate on this, you guys, because I feel like between Coach Reed, Eric Bieniemy, Matt Nagy, and then Patrick himself, 'cause, I'm like, there's a lot to cook.
Clark
Where
Hunt probably getting in there a little
Right.
bit.
where it comes from sometimes.
Oh man, that'd be too funny. Yeah, it's great.
Gracie calling plays. Jackson. Yeah.
Yeah, it's a little TikTok. Mahomes has to check his
Well,
TikTok account to see what Jackson's dancing to get the next play
That's the
call.
secret.
It's the
That's the
secret.
secret.
Hey, if it
Nice.
works, you go for it.
The
Awesome.
whole time we thought he was dancing but it was actually him running play.
He was making play
running
calls.
around.
Yeah, right.
Yeah, absolutely.
Oh man. What about on the Bucks side of the ball though? Like, was there anything you all saw that you wanted to talk about with it?
I think Brady's still Brady. That's not
Okay. I think like within like the short game, Brady can play. I
yeah.
think anything outside of the short game, it's like, ooh, okay. So he's not quite what he used to be.
Yeah. I mean, he's not the only thing with this game, and I think we played a hell of a game, right? I really do. It did help that we got some lucky breaks from the start. You know what I'm saying?
Yes.
Like I think that definitely set the tempo for the game, and they just weren't able to overcome it. I wonder how things would have looked if we didn't get some of those breaks early on, and it was just kind of a straightforward, situation, because you see the final score 41-31. They did put up points on us, so
I think if I'm recalling the stat correctly, it's the fifth time in Brady's career he's scored over 30 points and lost.
yes,
So every other
yeah,
time he's done it, it seals the deal. Just
yeah,
it's
absolutely,
nutty.
Well, anytime you play the Chiefs, there's an anomaly.
Right.
for
Like all
sure,
those stats,
for
all those
sure.
things. And especially when we've got all of our pieces together, when we're on, and playing to the best of our ability in all areas, just like on paper, as it should be on paper, right? Like we hear that a lot. So I feel like there's that anomaly because, yeah, you can be so great and so amazing, but you introduce a different element to the game when you're playing Patrick Mahomes and company.
Absolutely. Yeah. Other than that, I mean, like you read the run stat earlier. Their run game was pitiful. They had
Shockingly
they had to
pitiful,
play
yeah.
catch up. Yeah, they had to play from behind the entire time. Uh, the receivers are back healthy. We'll see what goes on with them throughout the season.
Did
Um,
did they
Did you
come
guys get
out?
worried when Godwin went down?
Yeah.
Because this was
Yes.
his
yeah,
first game back from injury.
Yeah.
yes,
Poor guy. Him and Mike Evans together have just been when they're healthy has been so much fun to watch play. Uh, for
Fun for
all
who?
Well, for all three games that they've ever been healthy to play with each other, because I feel so bad for Godwin because I feel like he could easily be any other team's number one wide receiver, and then
oh
to
yeah.
be playing number two to Mike Evans only because it's Mike Evans, it's just great. And I hate seeing him be injured all the time. Not yeah, of course when they're playing against the Chiefs, I don't care, but yeah, otherwise it's like he could have had such a sterling career, and it's going to be, a struggle for him to even get into the Hall of Fame, I feel.
I
Um,
mean, well, I think it's still very early in his
mm,
career. I mean, we can see what happens with that, but
yeah, he's only
yeah, it is.
26, plenty of time still.
Yeah, yeah, there's plenty of time for that. But yeah, to your point, yeah, he is kind of the second fiddle where he could definitely be the number one, probably anywhere else. And yeah, it's funny. They also got, they got Julio Jones on that team too. Like
Totally
on
forgot about
paper,
that. Yeah, going
I
in.
know I did until I watched the game. I was like, oh yeah, there he
And,
Forgot
is.
about him.
and not just him, but
Yeah.
also Cole Beasley, totally forgot he was
Yes.
even in the league still. And
Yes.
Cameron Brate's a great tight end, so they have talent.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off there.
No, I mean, I was just agreeing with you. I mean, they got weapons. They got weapons over there. Uh, yeah, maintaining, staying healthy and staying out of trouble seems to be kind of a issue right now. So, we did beat them the Super Bowl year, and then
And then,
they figured out their situation later on. So, um,
came back and
let's see
put
if they
us in our
can.
place, right?
Right. Let's see if they can try to do that again.
I know we'll be talking about some of the other games this week and some of the other teams. There's some fun competition going on in the NFC. It's almost
There is.
I know it's maybe a little bit too hot, but it almost feels like the NFC may be surprisingly the better conference this year. After some of the stumbles by who we expected to be great in the AFC.
That's interesting because you say that, and my first reaction was to be like, no, I don't think so. But then when you think about, yeah, like you said, the team's struggling this year, kind
Yeah.
of not doing what they're supposed to. Yeah, it is kind of looking like the NFC looks a little bit better this year than they have in the past couple
hmm
seasons.
I,
It's
Like
early,
strength.
y'all. It's early.
yeah, I
It
was
is
about to
early.
say
It is, yeah,
four
definitely
weeks
early.
in,
It's early.
right?
Yeah. All this
No,
is speculative, but yeah.
right. I my
But the Eagles look strong, I think. I
They
think the
do.
They
Eagles
do.
look like
Agree.
easily strong. And you know how much I shit on the NFC least most years, but they
I
they look solid. I do think we'll see a deep playoff run from them. I'm not
mhm.
ready to say Super Bowl just yet, but they're definitely the strongest to me in that on that side. I think to most people right now. Um, and you see teams like uh, LA being surprisingly weak. That's been interesting. I think the Bucks. I do think we'll see the Bucks later on in the playoffs. Like I
Yeah.
do think they'll make a run. Um, they said they've been struggling, right? They were struggling the first couple weeks, but they started finding their rhythm against us, ironically, right? Like
Mm-hmm.
you would look, even though we were, firing too. So I expect to see them look a little bit more improved as the season goes on.
Yeah. I only had two other notes written down about this Chiefs Bucks game. The first being Sneed, L'Jarius Sneed, just really setting the
Oh yeah.
tempo for the
Yeast.
defense. You always
Big
Yet
Daddy
expect,
again.
2.0.
yeah, because like you always expect, one of the middle linebackers to the lead in tackles, and then the second middle linebacker to be second in tackles. Bolton was number two in tackles with 8 total, 6 solo. Sneed though, solo tackles. It's just crazy
Yes.
coming from his position, and one of those was a
Yes.
sack. Just
He was
awesome,
all over the place.
awesome to see. I really
He
hope
was
they keep
all over the
utilizing
field.
him. Yeah. And then my last
Absolutely.
one, I love the fact that the trick plays are back. I mean,
Love it.
it's so much fun.
Love it.
I don't know if I just like am confirmation bias. This is the most recent game, so I'm remembering it better. I don't remember that many trick plays coming out of our first few games of the season.
I don't either.
But to
I
have,
don't even remember from last season either. Like I think we tried some and they failed, right? Like a lot of them last season.
yeah, it's
I know
almost
we
like,
tried to have like Tyreek throw the ball a couple
mm,
times.
exactly, yeah.
I don't even remember that.
So it's really fun
But
to see, yeah, like the rushing play when the tight end took the snap. Which was that Gray? Or I can't even remember who took that snap. That
I think it was, yeah.
yeah, it was Noah.
hmm And then
Because he wasn't he a quarterback for a short stint also
I
in
didn't-
college,
just like every other NFL player, it seems.
right?
That was
But no,
great
I
to
think you're
see.
right. Yeah, played like quarterback in high school and then for a little bit in college before transitioning roles.
Yeah. Yeah. Overall, like this was classic Chiefs. Like this is the Chiefs we like to see. Like Mahomes doing something just absolutely bonkers that like gets a bunch of replays. Like what did Collinsworth say? Looking like he's playing in his backyard. A couple cool looking trick plays. Solid run game. Offensive line doing their thing. Defense, they made some plays. I mean, maybe not the best. You know, maybe not the best defense in front, but like you said, Snead was all over the field. They were doing their thing a little bit.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was a good looking game. I enjoyed it. I thought this was a lot of fun. Oh, and it's prime time, right?
Prime
So
Oh
time.
yeah.
I guarantee we probably made a lot of kids happy. Got a lot of new Chiefs fans after watching that game.
And we'll get to do it again next week when we play the lovely
Monday
Raiders.
Night Football, Raiders.
Lovely Raiders.
Slaughter.
All
Can't wait.
right.
Are
Cannot
y'all
wait.
surprised that with any other parts or aspects of the game from this past Sunday night?
Surprise? No. Again, like I said, it's just like we are saying. It's still early, but this is what they're doing. I liked everything that they're doing, and I hope we just keep that momentum going. I'm sure
Okay.
we'll probably have another Colts game at some point this year, just because that's just what we do.
Mm-hmm.
Like this, there's the Titans game that was weird, like what last year I believe, and
Yeah.
there's always just one game that's like a head scratcher, one or two games. I do expect probably another one of those, but if most of them look like this, then we're definitely making another run. Like no question, in my
Oh,
opinion.
I love that.
Mm-hmm.
So
Absolutely. Yeah, I think that my only other remaining thought is just how happy I am that they very quickly put to bed the whole conflict, the perceived conflict between Bieniemy and Mahomes.
Oh,
Yes.
I
you
think,
know what?
yeah,
I didn't even put too much clout in that, to be honest,
no,
because I figured, I mean, you with these guys, like it's an intense. There's going to be times where guys butt heads, like, and
yeah,
it's not always a breakup. You know what I'm
right.
saying? Like, it's not
Yeah.
always a Terrell Owens McNabb situation. Sometimes everybody gets a little fired up, and
Mm-hmm.
sometimes that comes out. on the field. But I mean, I'm sure the same thing happens in practice. Like it happens everywhere, and yeah, as you can
Oh
see,
yeah.
it had no
It's just
effect on the
all
game.
eyes on them, all eyes
Yeah.
Hmm.
when it's the game, especially a primetime game. So
Yes.
Feels
But yeah,
good.
that's
I
all I got on that game.
Yeah, good win. Take it.
Loved it.
Rest of the league. The first thing I had listed here is just that barn burner down in London. You all wake
Absolutely
up
not watch.
Ooh,
early for that?
I did not.
I
I
know
In
Hung
fact,
was up at 6:30 in the
I was
morning,
up.
ready
No,
to
earlier
go.
than that because I had a flight to catch that day.
I had a wedding the night before, and
So you were still up.
Right.
yeah,
Not ready.
I didn't get out of bed until maybe like noon, maybe noon.
Perfect.
But
Oh, so
yeah, so that didn't happen. So definitely missed the London game.
I saw bits and pieces of it. It was fun. I always, enjoy seeing the way the crowds act differently. For anyone who doesn't know, actually, in English soccer, it's required for fans to sit during the game. Even if your team scores a goal, you can like stand up for 2 seconds to cheer, and then you have to sit back
oh, you
down.
have to sit? Oh my
Uh-huh.
gosh.
Interesting.
Well, and it has a huge history to it. What was it, back in the 80s, I think it was. Liverpool was playing a team in Hillsborough, and I can't remember their exact name. They might have just been Hillsborough. But there was a overcapacity crowd with standing room only in there, and I mean, just went disastrous. Something like 80 people died from this, like just crushing crowd and all this kind of stuff. It's
Oh,
absolutely a huge, a huge thing for English soccer. They do a remembrance for it every year, and I always recommend checking it out because it's just such a crazy event that happened. But that spawned this whole, they can sit only, and that does translate to the NFL, it seems. So which is
interesting.
completely different to anyone who's been to Arrowhead and had to stand for 4 hours straight and um, in the lovely, lovely, soul-packingly crushed stadium there. So, yeah, it's just a different atmosphere, but fun to watch. And this game was it was something else, I think. Didn't expect it to be as high scoring as it was, I feel.
Mhm.
I say that the game was 28-25, but the Saints defense is just crazy. Vikings defense has flashes of brilliance, and they were playing against the Saints offense. So, good old Andy Dalton out there, throwing the ball still. And so huh? I'm sorry.
No, I'm sorry. I just left it.
Andy Dalton still
No,
exists.
he's still there.
He's still there.
Same thing when I was like, wait, who is Dalton?
Dalton,
Andy Dalton?
right.
He's
I'm
still a
like,
thing.
still see ghosts? Oh, poor guy.
Just an absolutely hilarious. So I expected it to be a defensive showcase, and all right, yeah, they didn't have the 41-31 scoreline we did, but at 28-25 was pretty fun.
So, yeah.
Good times.
Yeah, a lot of fun. Yeah,
Well,
yeah.
and can I just say, like, aside, just an observation from something that I noticed because it was the London game, of course, just how amazing it must be for the football fans in Europe because I saw so many different team jerseys when the camera would pan into the stands, right? I thought that was really, really cool and how fun it would be just to have that experience, even if it wasn't your team. So I thought that was just really neat as a fan, from a fan perspective.
Yeah, it's always a variety when they show those games. I definitely plan to watch the one next week when they show Packers Giants, I believe is the next one.
Yeah.
So I'll be interested in seeing that one. I'll get up early for some football. Why not? You have to
You
pull
say
my
that
leg, the
now.
NFL. Sorry. Oh my gosh. More football?
You say that
Jeez.
now.
Shove it
Oh,
all
I'm not
in
going
there.
to a wedding next week.
Exactly.
either, so-
What wedding or what outing you have Saturday night, Raw?
The only plan I have Saturday, gotta watch my
As of now.
undefeated Jayhawks take on the I gotta mention that. The undefeated.
Ranked, what is it, 21? Yeah,
Nationally
19?
ranked
19 maybe,
19.
yeah.
Kansas Jayhawks.
Rock Chalk.
Where's Missouri? We don't know,
We don't know.
but
We're
Do
not
they
sure.
have a
We
team?
almost beat Georgia. We almost beat Georgia. Okay.
that's true. That is true. They did almost
Oh,
beat Georgia. But yes, I'll be watching the KU versus TCU, and then I believe that I'll be out at Red River, the Red River shootout.
Oh,
so
very
y'all
fun.
go
So
find him. Go
that
find
that
him.
Alright.
do not find me.
Do
No, I don't.
He will not be
can talk
taking
on,
pictures at this
on
time.
social media, but yeah,
Right?
no, I'll be all right.
Uh,
Not.
oh my God. And then waking up early for the Giants Packers.
Yep. Yeah, full weekend of sports ahead. Cannot wait.
Always a blast. Absolutely. All right. And second one, Raiders finally win a game.
Oh,
The
I'm
only
bummed.
reason I'm okay with this is because it was against the Broncos.
Yeah.
That's all I'm holding on to. If it was a non-AFC West team, I would have just been mad, honestly. But
Right.
Yeah.
um, even then, Josh Jacobs showed up. 28 carries, 144 yards, 2 touchdowns. Um, so he had his, once a year game. Without him, they lose this easily. So I think that'll be a thing to keep an eye on is if they keep trying to feed Jacobs and if Jacobs takes the workload well. Because if not, that seems to be the only bright spot they really have going for themselves right now.
Yeah, I saw a headline on was it Good Morning Football? They call them Las Vegas.
Yes,
LOSS
I
Vegas.
love that.
I
Yes.
love it. I was
I'm
like,
like, who is in charge of this? This is brilliant.
yes.
Give that man a raise.
Right?
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
love it.
Raiders. I mean, the Broncos suck too. So this doesn't really.
Yeah.
I don't believe this is
Yeah.
the Raiders figuring it out. I believe this is the
This
Raiders
is the
just
Broncos
Just-
just
just
being
have-
bad. Yeah.
yeah.
Exactly.
That
Absolutely.
feeds into what I was saying earlier with the AFC West being weak, or sorry, not AFC West, it's just the AFC in general being weaker than the NFC is because everyone was talking about what the AFC West is going to look like this year. With the going into it, we got Russell Wilson, Derek Carr, Herbert, Mahomes. Everyone's just going on about it, and now I'm just like, where's Wilson? Where's Carr? And
Right.
Right. They
Herbert.
haven't
And
entered the conversation yet.
Yeah.
Like, they haven't earned their way into the conversation.
And at this point, I'm really wondering why Derek Carr's name keeps getting brought up in this conversation. Is like, oh
Because
yeah, like
they added a bunch of pieces around him.
Yeah, those pieces
Yeah.
are doing
That's
great. Right.
Yeah.
yeah. Let's see how that worked out for him
It's just,
so far.
yeah, I never understood it. I don't, and maybe it's just because of my bias towards the Raiders, but
I was gonna say, I know we sound biased, but objectively, they're bad. Like, I'm saying,
I think that's still our bias talking, y'all.
yes, like I just didn't expect them to be that good. Even with Devontae Adams, like I still wasn't really expecting the Raiders to do much, and big surprise, they're not doing shit.
They're not
So,
doing much.
like,
So. Hey, I will, never say no to that. So, all right.
right.
My favorite topic of the past few weeks, just because I really needed to pay off to look like a savant. How about those Jets?
You know what? They're becoming like, every year there's like a team I like to follow along with our team. Like, obviously, I want the Chiefs to win, but there's always a team that I'm like interested in catching their games, and this year's the Jets. Yes, because I love the hide your moms people. You got your boy Zach Wilson throwing bombs.
Speaking of,
banging.
did you see the Giselle Zach Wilson?
Yeah.
Oh, God.
My God.
Yes.
Oh,
Yes.
Pure gold.
I love it.
So great. Yeah, and Brees Hall,
Tom.
I know you've talked about being big on him, Ra,
Yes.
and he
He's looking good.
He didn't have a 100-yard game, but the runs he had, were good.
They're solid. Yeah, they were solid.
I know Zach Wilson himself had statistically a rough game. A couple of interceptions. 252 yards or whatever it was still. But his completion to attempt rate was awful. His receivers were It's really seemed. I don't know if it's just the fact that maybe they haven't been playing with him as much. They're trying to get Wilson back in because Flacco is not it anymore.
Yeah.
So did they try to rush too quickly bringing Wilson in so he hasn't had that time needed to build the chemistry with
Hmm.
Elijah Moore and Corey Davis and I forget who else they have out there right now. Um, so how will that develop, or will he stay to this whole, completing only half his passes, throwing a couple of interceptions every game, and still squeaking out a win? I think will
Yeah.
really determine what happens there. And I think he did benefit a little bit from playing against the Steelers. They've been pretty disappointing, I would say, almost this year. Did I lose y'all? Am I talking to
Nope,
myself?
you're good. I was gonna say, I don't think you're wrong at all whatsoever there. So it's going to be to see how they pull themselves up from here, and forward. So it'll be that indicator. So I don't think that you're wrong whatsoever.
Yeah,
I think we lost Raw.
I think we did temporarily. Hot. Yeah, so I'm not going to try to like talk down the Jets' win here because blaming the Steelers for blowing it by any means. I think they did earn the win, even if they earned it in a very rough way. I feel like I've
Yeah.
seen a lot more games this year that I didn't expect to be earned in, like these dirty, rough games than I have, which is fun. Yeah, it's like that's why I like football is seeing those gritty wins that people pull
Right.
out at the last minute. Unless it's the Chiefs, then I
Hmm.
want to win by 20 points every week. But uh,
Every week.
every week, um,
Pull out in the last minute with maybe a field goal kick.
Oh,
I'm
just
just saying, kickers. There's a place for them.
no, no, there's not.
not according to
There's not.
Billy. Not according to
There's
It's
not.
Billy.
no,
So I,
no.
d- I don't want to be paying a guy 6, 7 figures to show up for 3 kicks a game. And
Unless you're the guy.
oh no, if I was a kicker, I'd be changing my tune in about a heartbeat. It's just yeah, pay me the money. I'll play the 7 snaps.
Kicker and backup quarterback, which we'll get to, but those are the two best positions to play in the NFL, in my
Right,
opinion.
absolutely. Yeah, so it's a fun game. I mean, I know my prediction's not going to pay off, right? But I'm still going to have fun cheering for it until it's locked away for sure.
Absolutely.
What's that prediction one more time?
Jets winning the AFC East.
Is
Yeah, that's
that
not
to keep the
happening.
receipts?
That's in. Keep the receipts.
All
Uh,
right.
You know.
It's not going to happen, but I'm glad that's there, so we can
You're
talk
right.
about how that didn't happen once the season ends.
Hey, I'm just it's.
He's
It's
just being prepared.
one of these days I'm going to remember that the Bills are in the AFC East, and then I'll not make that kind of call again.
Ooh.
So it's just
Ooh.
oh yeah.
Yeah,
Um,
which let's go ahead and get
Speaking
into that.
of, yes,
Yeah,
please. Uh,
Bills Ravens. Man, I was rooting for the Ravens. They were scoring points. They someone said it best. Their defense does not look like the Ravens defense. Like the Ravens have a history
Hmm.
of a good, being like just like a defensive team, and that is definitely not the case this year so far.
Right.
And they threw that game away. They lost that game more than the Bills won it, in my
mhm,
opinion.
Yeah.
100%, 100%.
Uh,
This is the exact game. If I said it last week or the week before, this is the game people will use to justify to not pay Lamar Jackson. And
Right.
which, yeah,
I
it's not on him.
I get it. If this was the kind of game he had every week, it's not. So I think it's silly. But yeah,
Right.
it is. It's things like the play calling. What was it? They were 4th and 1 on the goal line, and they decided to like roll him out for a pass. You have Lamar Jackson, just have him run it in.
Right.
Right.
Like any
He
of
could
that.
do it.
He can do it absolutely. And dude's like what 5th in the league in rushing yards right now, I think. So you know, let him run. Just let him go wild.
Let him play his game.
Absolutely. So yeah, I think watching this game to me, like going into this week, it was going to be one of those game of the weeks for me. Like one I would want to watch, one I think would be a good one. I turned this game on and I think I turned it off about halfway through. It's just like it was tough. Um, for me personally,
Mhm.
it was boring almost. And then I did turn it on towards the end to see what would happen and who would win it. Which was what a kick in the final second. So, yet again, proving my point wrong about kickers. Um,
Building his case.
yeah, building my case here. Now, just think how more exciting it would have been if Josh Allen would have had to get the points on the board, or it would go to overtime. That's all I'm saying. But
Yeah,
That's
um,
all. That's all
that's
he's
all I'm
saying.
saying. That's all I'm saying.
That's it.
prove he's as good as they say.
Prove he's as good as he said. Yeah. So yeah, this game went from being a game of the week for me to just being a chore to watch, and
Right.
I'm a little disappointed by that. Although it is fun to see the fact that Marcus Peters has not calmed down at all.
Oh my gosh, man! I was like, Marcus Peters doing Marcus Peters things. It's like, yeah, just on the sideline, just losing his mind. Like, bruh, like, you still doing this stuff?
Right. So, come on, man. That was fine when you were like a rookie or a second year player, but now you're
Yeah, you're a vet now. I
come
get he's
on.
passionate, but come on, man.
All right. So after that game, the Lions. You're talking about the Jets being your team to watch this year. I think that's the Lions for me.
They're interesting.
They have the most points scored this year so far at
Yes.
140, averaging about
Wow.
35 a game. Do have to give a shout out in my fantasy league, my money league, because this past week I traded for the Detroit Lions tight end who had, I think it was the second best fantasy game a tight end's ever had. He
Wow.
scored something like
Really?
40 points. I still lost my game, which is something I want to complain about
Oh
later.
my
But
gosh.
yeah, don't get me started on that one. Because I was playing against Josh Jacobs, so that really, really hurt.
Oh, yeah.
Right. Um, yeah, but the Lions seem like this anomaly. They're 1-3 with the most points scored. You know, what's that?
Which
What's that tell you?
that is the most lion stat ever. Like, of course, you know,
Yeah,
like,
it's what else? Yeah, that's it. Yeah.
yeah, it's a snake bitten franchise there. Um, it could just be kind of a matchup thing. Like they're like you said, they're scoring points. They just start. Another team that was like this. What I think last year was the Vikings, right? Like the Vikings kind of had a similar situation going on last year where they were putting up points but not getting it done. And still early, right? 4 weeks in, 1-3 record. That is something they could turn around, especially because the NFC North doesn't look that great. Like Rodgers is beatable, like those teams are beatable. The Bears are beatable, so they could figure it out. But yeah, it is kind of a funny, like I said, very lion esque stat.
Right.
Because of course, you hear that, and you're like, of course, like it's the Lions, of course, of course that's happening to them.
Yeah. It's just like the poor people in Michigan. Yeah, I just feel bad for them.
Yeah, it's cold.
They're cold, miserable, and they have to cheer for the Lions. Like,
Yeah,
Oh my gosh.
man.
they got the UP up there. There's like elk everywhere.
But
Like,
and
oh no,
yeah,
man.
and not
It's
just
beautiful at this moment. I mean,
right.
we're actually in
All
season.
right,
Might go on
little,
later.
yeah, peacemaker over here. Huh? It's just like defending
Yeah,
him. It's like,
Just
what,
trying to,
what?
find the silver lining.
Oh man, but yeah, it's like even worse for them is they have to put up with Bears fans, Packers fans, and Vikings fans, and
Yeah.
it's just like they really
Yeah.
get it, they really catch it from everything. So
right.
Ed,
Yeah,
hopefully
fun
they pull it
team.
back. I would love to see anyone but the Packers win the NFC North.
I would too.
But shout
I
out to
would
Kate's
too.
family not listening to this right now because I would be uninvited to Christmas.
Did you
Uh,
guys hear the little mic'd up clip from Aaron Rodgers, like yelling and cussing at his center to get the snap out?
oh my God.
I missed
Yeah,
that.
I was like, ooh,
And,
Aaron Rodgers getting feisty.
right. Oh my goodness.
Yeah,
Yeah, so the Packers game, did you all watch any of that or catch any of that?
no, not Nits and
Packers
no.
Patriots.
Packers Patriots.
Yeah, I watched a little bit of it, but ended up turning it off. I kind of wish I hadn't because
Oh,
it ended up ending kind of interesting. It went
Hmm.
overtime.
It did,
Yeah,
yes.
yeah.
With
So
a
yeah,
rookie sixth, what round is he even drafted? I don't know. Bailey Zapp or Zappy or whatever. I never
right.
even
what?
knew this guy existed because he's the third
Third string
string
quarterback, right?
quarterback. Yeah.
Yeah,
Wow.
yeah, yeah. That's
Um.
why I turned it off. I was like, this is going to be a slaughtering. Like, but yeah, it ended up kind of being
Kind
more
of
contested
than
than I had
expected.
originally thought. Yeah.
Hmm. Yeah, everything is. So I caught a couple of highlights, but I mostly read about it. Everything indicated that like this guy came out and balled unexpectedly. Of course they
Yes.
leaned heavily on the run game. Once Hoyer did go down, which is reasonable. Your third string quarterback's in there, so you want to. He didn't get rid of the ball fast enough, so he definitely led to more sacks than somebody who's been in the league for a reasonable amount of time would have given up. It still, clocked some pretty impressive plays, pretty impressive throws. Maybe the future's bright for him. I mean, it won't be bright at the Patriots because I think Mac Jones will be their starter for a while. And then if Mac
Right.
Jones looks like he's sputtering out, they'll just draft somebody. But it'll be interesting to see where this guy ends up and how he goes.
Mhm.
Absolutely. Bill, hot mad on the sideline over there.
Man, he is funny. Him and Tomlin, when they get mad, it's just I don't
Temper
I
tantrum.
it's absolutely hilarious to watch. And it's also a little scary because I would never want to be around him. I'd fear for my life, I
But
think. But
no one bats an eye at that. But oh God, forgive me, if the Chiefs getting a little bit of a argument. Then oh my gosh, the season's over.
right, right. Oh man, that's too funny. Yeah. So he's a case of a backup quarterback coming in and playing. I feel like we had a ton of those this week, though, or am I just dreaming?
Mhm.
Uh,
Uh,
No.
no, we had a couple. I can't. I'm trying to think who else. Was
Mm-mm.
it
I'm trying to
Cooper
Geno
think.
Rush.
Pierce?
Sorry,
Geno Smith?
Geno Smith. Isn't he the starter? Am I crazy?
Yes, because Drew
And
Lock was
then
never going to be the starter, right?
But yeah, unfortunately, you're still
Oh, I'm
holding
sorry.
out for
Yeah, he
that
is the
day,
start.
aren't you?
No, that's not who I'm thinking of. No, I'm
Um,
sorry. The name's gonna come to me right now.
yeah,
But
it's
yeah,
gonna
you did say Cooper Rush. Yeah,
Cooper
Cooper
Rush.
Rush is doing
Uh-huh.
his thing. People are liking it out here. They're still winning. They've been winning games, and so Dak was supposed to come back, I think, this week, but it sounds like it's going to be delayed another week because he still can't
Mhm.
grip the football. But I'd say like don't rush it. If he's winning games right now, let him
Let
play.
him. Let him.
Yeah. So
What I think he's the first Dallas Cowboys quarterback to start as a starter win his first four games is what I saw. Which
Oh,
that's just
wow.
oh
one of
really?
those silly stats that
That's a
somebody
wild stat.
dug up,
Yeah.
but it's like okay, yeah, Cooper Rush is not that name. I mean, come on, Aikman, Romo, and then Dak. You'd think one of them would have won their first four games, but
Right.
no, instead it's Michael Irvin's favorite, Cooper Rush. So,
Yeah. And it was Teddy Bridgewater was the name I was trying to think of.
oh yeah, Teddy Bridgewater,
Teddy
absolutely.
Bridgewater.
And then
Yeah, he came in.
the other one is Panthers. Panthers having their issues with Baker Mayfield,
Yes.
which
Yeah.
I'm sure nobody saw coming at all. I think I think with him though, it's Baker played the whole game. It's just been the narrative since Sunday that he's not going to be playing anymore. Um,
Right.
so I guess yeah, technically he didn't start, but next week we should expect to see what Sam Darnold I think is the presumptive backup if he's healthy.
Right.
I can't
Yeah.
remember if he's healthy or not.
Get it.
Mhm.
Darnold
Absolutely.
time.
So it's fun. I love watching a backup quarterback or a third string come in and do
Darnold
exactly
going
show exactly why
mano
they
y
are.
mano.
It's great.
I'm sorry.
No, you're absolutely right. Oh my God. It's too funny. Yeah, and of course, I'm going to remember the last one I'm thinking about uh, right after we end this podcast and feel like a fool that
Oh,
I
of
missed
course.
it, right away. Oh no. Yeah, you mentioned Teddy Bridgewater, and I figured that would be a good chance to talk about the. I can't remember if I have that in a different slide or not. The news around Tua, though.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, yeah. Let's talk about that. I don't really know the details. I know the neurologist did get fired.
Yeah, the unaffiliated, supposed to be Switzerland neurologist, he was fired.
Did you
Yes.
did you read about this guy at all? If
No.
you had,
What?
so apparently this is just the most recent in a long line of mistakes that this guy's been making. Um,
No.
Really?
and I mean, of course, everyone's speculating, oh, well, the only reason he's getting fired is because it happened to such a high-profile player. Uh,
Oh my
to
gosh.
me, the attitude in the article I was reading is like, no, this is just the straw that broke the back with him. Um,
Uh-huh.
both
Gotcha.
the NFL and the NFLPA have the right contractually to fire a independent neurologist or whatever their exact title is without cause and without the other's permission, which the NFLPA flexed that in this case and fired this guy. Too little, too late, but obviously, yeah, I don't know. It's going to be crazy to see what happens.
I know that Tua mentioned gave a statement thanking everybody, but like I feel like I still haven't seen anything about like his exact determination. Like we know he's on in concussion protocol. We know he's out for a while, but do we know how long? Do we know any other details?
Nope, not at
I
this time. Yeah.
don't.
Hmm.
Uh,
he's he's in the protocol, and there's this whole NFL concussion protocol. I feel is just a
It's
bunch of
getting looked
words.
at.
Yeah, a bunch of words that means
Scrutinized.
nothing, right? Um,
Mm-hmm.
Day to day.
right, day to day,
Yeah.
exactly.
Yeah.
Or my favorite injury status, doubtful, and it's like, well, then just say out then.
Right.
I mean, like if you're doubtful, you're not
Yeah,
playing.
because how often does
Maybe.
that turn into healthy? Not very often.
right. Yeah, it's clearly a case that I'm no expert, I'm no doctor, and we don't know what was happening in the locker room. It feels like Tua should have never come back in that game on that Sunday. Um,
No.
and
Mm-mm.
even if he hadn't, I mean, should have even been playing on Thursday.
Probably not. That short turnaround, right?
Hmm.
Oh my
Yeah.
goodness. That was crazy to witness that and to see. I'm trying to think back because we did our show before the Thursday night game,
Hmm.
right?
Yes.
Yeah. So that was absolutely insane to watch, like his nervous system do whatever it was doing and his hands,
Mm-hmm.
oh, like
That
freezing up, tensing up. I don't even know how to describe it. Just
I no, it's
it was
awful.
absolutely insane.
It's rough.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I can tell you how it feels. It's not good. It's kind of like, if you ever get like your legs fall asleep and super tingly, right?
Uh-huh.
And you're standing
Mm.
up and trying to walk. It's very much like that, but you also can't move your fingers. So you get that like,
Oh
Mm.
my
so it's
God.
it's almost like the, internal panic and all that. Somebody I have to put on blast though about all of this is freaking Baldy on Twitter. Baldy
Uh-huh.
breakdowns.
Brian. Yeah.
Yeah, Brian. Tua gets hit,
Brian
goes.
Baldinger.
Tua gets hit, goes down, and has his hands doing the thing it is. And I swear to God,
Oh
this
God.
guy tweets out "cramps suck" or something like that, and that's
Oh
it.
Yeah.
That's all he
no, he
tweets.
did not.
Yeah,
Oh.
and I'm like, read the room, dude. Like, there's no way that's cramps. If
Yeah.
we
There were a
understand,
couple bad ones.
yeah. He did. I'm not going to even say credit where due, but he did delete that tweet. And thank goodness he did. Because that's just, I hate that.
That's poor taste.
Yeah. Poor
And
taste
that's
in.
what, like, I mean, I know, I get it because Twitter, right? Hot
Hmm.
takes and everything else, but come on.
Right. It's just like that's yeah. I mean, I know he has messed up fingers from his time as playing an offensive lineman, but just because he gets cramps like that, I don't.
Yeah.
Man,
Yeah.
that put a sour taste in my because I love watching his videos and his breakdowns of stuff, and now I'm just like, I don't
Uh-huh.
even know if I want to follow you anymore. Um,
Yeah. I mean, he did delete it. Hopefully,
mhm.
there was a few distasteful tweets going around. There was one talking about from some Barstool always got something crazy to say,
Oh,
Love those
and like
I
people.
one
don't
of their
follow them. It's hard for me to.
I can't blame
yeah
you at
what
all.
yeah one of their people said something crazy and got absolutely destroyed for it. Um, I'm like that needs to happen to y'all more often because y'all be
Yeah.
coming out of pocket with some
Chris.
stuff. But yeah, hopefully he feels better soon. I mean, it's just one of those things. They have to be careful. They have to. NFL has to do this right. Like
Yeah.
they can't make any more mistakes with this. So it's gonna be how long do y'all think he's gonna be out for?
Oh gosh. I'd say like 3 weeks
Yeah, probably.
Minimum, yeah.
minimum. Yeah, minimum.
Yeah.
I
If they
mean,
bring him, and I feel like they're scrutinized so badly right now that they bring him back any sooner and something happens. Could you even imagine the backlash from that?
it'd
Oh, it'd be
be terrible.
yeah,
Yeah.
be done.
I'm most curious to see what the NFLPA's investigation overturns. I know a lot of people
Mhm.
have been giving the head coach, who I can't remember the name of, they seem to be blaming him the most, which I
Yeah.
feel is probably misplaced. If his focus during either of those games after Tua is injured is on Tua's injury, he's frankly not doing his job. He's
Mike
there.
McDaniel, by the way.
Thank you. Yes. He's there to coach the game that's in front of him. I mean, I'm sure he's thinking about Tua and hoping he's all right, but he has to play the game with the players that he has. So I think it's wrong to give him a lot of blame, and I doubt he did anything to pressure this guy back in. I what I imagine, and of course we know nothing, but all three of us are athletes to some degree, or competitive individuals, and
Hmm.
I think we all know that if you get hurt, you still push yourself to go back in, and that's when you need
Right.
that adult in the room who is that unaffiliated,
Exactly.
neurologist to tell you no. Um,
Right.
because I wouldn't blame Tua if he was trying to come back in. I blame the people who let him go back in. Um,
Yeah.
and I think 3 weeks is optimistic. If it was just one injury and not both of these, then maybe three
Yeah.
weeks. But to have those back to back, I mean, I don't know. I hope the best because it's been fun watching him play, even if he isn't more accurate than Patrick Mahomes. As we saw,
I'm
Just had to
never
make sure
gonna
we
let
get
that
that
go.
out
I'm
there.
never gonna let that go.
No,
I
who
saw
said that?
I saw
Oh,
some of those interceptions. I'm like, well, yeah, he's throwing to those players real accurately there, huh?
yeah, exactly.
Yeah, I saw a few tweets about that, about some of the plays that he had, that Mahomes had, and people were like, "Oh, more accurate." Huh? Like there's just a lot of salt going on,
This is great.
and I
Well,
love
and it's
it.
just like the Sunday night game. People are talking about, oh, how this team really misses Tyreek Hill. I'm like, can we just leave it be? You know,
Man, Collinsworth,
we
man, was
don't.
really going
We're
in on that.
dismissing
Like,
it.
we really don't. Like,
Yeah,
What
geez, like
indication have we given?
I feel like we've shown that we don't need them at all, to be honest.
right. There are more players receiving the ball and getting the ball than ever before. So, what's the problem?
Right. Yep, they just want to have something to talk about.
Yeah,
Um,
that's all.
and
Let's
it's
hear
gonna follow us the entire season. It's gonna follow us the entire season. Like, do we play the Dolphins this year? I don't think we do.
I don't believe we play anyone from the East.
Well, we play the Bills.
Oh, yeah. Well, all right. Well, they don't exist in the East, as I've clearly proven. So
Yeah, we don't play the Dolphins. Man, I'm sure that would have been a whole
That would have been fun,
yeah, that
it's
would have been
just
a whole thing.
golden opportunity missed by the NFL to not make that
right?
one happen, huh?
Yeah.
Oh, who knows? They
Yep.
could still flex it. Just kidding.
Right,
Just
right.
trade out the Jaguars. Yeah, you know what?
Right?
You guys sit at home.
Y'all need a backseat. Yeah, come on.
Yeah, right.
Let the adults play. Oh man.
Yeah.
Right.
All right. I know we're getting a little long here. Figured quick fantasy update. I mean, you two played each other, right?
We
Yep,
did.
and I whooped
You whooped
You
me.
that.
whooped it.
Thank you for reiterating that,
Well,
Robert.
I do have this adjust scoring button. So, you
Oh,
know,
what?
if you just,
Yeah,
You have that?
right?
yeah, if you just want to,
Yeah.
shoot me a little message, let me know what you want the score to
Okay.
be. We'll see
All
what we
right.
can work out there, all
All right.
right?
Well,
Sorry, it's not about what
Raw
you
did
need.
whoop me. He won 149 to 118. I did win in one of my three leagues, so there's that.
Nice. There you
Hey,
go.
1-3, just like your
Well, I'll
record in
take
this
it.
league, yeah.
I
Right?
was
See, there we
I
go.
was almost 6 for 6. So as y'all know, I'm a crazy
Oh,
person, and I am in 6 leagues this year. I was almost 6 for 6. However, the Rams defense lost me one that I
however.
was projected to win by like 60%.
Uh-huh.
Next time I checked it, it was like 2%. 2%
Yeah,
chance
it
because
just kept
the Rams
falling
had
and
2 points.
falling.
Yeah, exactly. The Rams D had 2 points. I'm like, you guys have Aaron Donald. How is this
It's
possible?
Yeah.
inexcusable.
Yeah.
Oh, that's too funny.
Yeah. So 5 out of 6 this
That,
week.
that's great. That's awesome.
Not too bad. Nebula beat Groot.
Hey,
Nebula B. Groot.
his,
I love it.
And throwing bombs and banging moms, my other team,
Oh my God.
beat some others.
oh
Zach
man,
Wilson
Hey,
sat
Zach
on my
that's
Wilson.
bench.
so
Yeah.
beautiful. Oh man.
Oh my
Favorite player right now.
That's the best. I had I had a 1-1 week. I'll take it. In our league,
God.
Nice.
I did win against Sheldon Webb. I don't know which of
Okay.
you two brought the
That's
That would be
yeah,
Raw.
the B
yeah,
Raw.
very
I'm
well. Yeah.
just starting to feel like Raw populated this league outside of me and Hunk's family.
Right, exactly.
It's perfect.
Pretty much.
My
Pretty much.
offspring.
I think so.
Right. Yeah, I had Matthew Stafford starting in this league, and I thought
Ooh,
for
so you got negative
sure
points?
he almost did. He was at 6, his solid 6, and I thought for sure
Oh,
it
he
would.
got negative in one of my leagues. I
Did
was like,
he?
ooh,
Wow.
yeah,
I'll have to look at our point score
yeah.
and see what the difference is there. That's funny.
Yeah, that's
Um,
interesting.
well, because the funny thing is like Stafford gets 6 points, but Higbee, the tight end, rocks out with
Mm-hmm.
17 points, which is, if a tight end gets 17 points, I'm
Interesting.
happy, right? Um,
Right.
the issue I have with that is I was playing Higbee in my other league, so while he won me this game, he cost me my other game. It's just like, come on, man. So this is my one problem with having multiple leagues is like when I end up in a position of like, who am I cheering for? Which team do I want to win the most?
It's hard.
It's hard. Yeah, because in my other league, there, my money league, I did, Hawkinson, who scored that 40 points as a tight end.
Hmm.
Like Cooper Cup, who, always shows up, and Mahomes as well. Then after that, like, yeah, it's the rest of my team. Brees Hall did really good for me.
Mm-hmm.
I left,
Same.
yeah. And then I ended up playing against Tom Brady. Leonard Fournette, who despite having -3 rushing yards, still scored 18 fantasy points.
Well, because
So
he had a touchdown
it just,
and
yeah, these receiving yards came in huge for him. It still
yeah.
looks, I'm still mad about it. I think if a running back gets negative yards, he should get 0 fantasy points. But
Agree.
this is me purely speaking from a position of I've lost my fantasy game, so I have to blame that.
Have to find a
I have
reason.
to find a reason. But then yeah, Josh Jacobs and Justin Jefferson just contributed to the cleanup of my team for sure. So never fun when a Raiders player beats you. Ugh,
I know. I hear you.
No. Yeah, that's not too fun.
not too fun at all. All right, week 5.
Week 5.
Anything
Rolling
happening
right
next
into
week?
it. Oh man.
Prime time once again.
Monday Night Football.
Monday Night Football. Yep.
Raider week.
I
Raider
can't.
week.
Here we are.
I'm sure we've done it recently. I just can't remember having back-to-back primetime games. And
I
I
think
would-
last season we had quite a few.
I did.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
was gonna say
Did we have 'em
it's
back-to-back, or were they spread out more? I can't remember. Anyway, this is
No,
such
I
an
don't remember.
insignificant
had
point.
quite a
But
few.
yeah,
Yeah, that's okay.
it's
We can be insignificant.
right. It's just that it's like I'd like to go to bed at a reasonable time on one of these school nights. But
oh, I love it.
if
I love
that's my
prime
only
time.
complaint, I'm okay. Life is good. Nothing like playing the
And here on the West
Raiders.
Coast,
Mm.
it's like, eh.
Because I can watch football all day, talk a bunch of shit to people, and then go watch my game, no matter what the results are. because it's at night and I'm at home.
Yeah, right, right. It's all your friends are quiet because they're not there, right?
Yeah,
Makes it easier.
exactly.
Yeah, Monday night's going to be a lot of fun. And we're playing there. Is that correct? I
No,
can't.
it's
Is
a
it
home
there?
Is
game.
it
It's at
home?
home.
Is
Yeah, it's
okay.
at home.
I
It's
can't
Arrowhead.
remember, man.
Yeah.
Well,
It is
hey,
at Arrowhead, y'all.
I have
uh,
a friend selling tickets if you're looking for some.
all
Hit up
right.
Raw.
He'll be where are you going to be at in person, Ra, again this
Yes, on
weekend?
Saturday.
Yeah,
Where are they
where
gonna
is
find
that so
you?
that they
Yeah.
can come get tickets from you?
Oh, not me. Find some of my buddy, one of my buddies. Yeah, don't
All right,
don't
don't
come
No.
find
don't don't
me.
talk to me about tickets.
Yeah,
Still, come find him. Go find
yeah,
him, y'all.
If you get a picture
absolutely
with
not.
Ra, yeah,
Yes, and we'll give you bonus points.
there we go.
I'm hard to miss right now too. That's the thing.
Oh man. I mean, yeah, is there much to talk about in this? I feel like we covered the Raiders and Chiefs pretty extensively. Like this, as long as we stop Josh Jacobs, it feels like,
Yeah.
I can't wait for that to fire
Yeah,
back in my face. So backfire,
I
not
don't
fire
think
back.
the Raiders don't have anything for us, man. Like I think we're gonna just destroy them. I really do. I'm not trying to be like cocky about it or like biased because they're the Raiders, whatever. I don't think they're
Right.
good. I don't think they're good at all. I don't. I never, at least for people have been talking about Derek Carr like he's been in the conversation for good quarterback. But when was his MVP season? Was it like 20 or MVP caliber season? It was like 2016, right?
I was gonna say,
Yeah,
It's
this
been a while. Like I might
this
be wrong about that, but it's been a while since he's looked like that, and people still keep
mhm.
bringing him up like somehow that's going to come back.
It's
It's
just his
done.
brother. It's not people. It's his brother.
hmm.
Yeah, I mean he was a scrub too. So yeah, like
And ain't that the
what are
That's
we
what
truth?
I
doing?
mean.
Yeah.
Uh,
So
no, you're right. Where was yeah, it'll be fun to see us play against Devontae Adams. See if our secondary can hold up against it. But like you're saying, what's it matter when
score some points.
it's when
Mhm.
it's Carr, throwing to him. Who cares? You could be the best receiver in the
Yeah.
league. Um, yeah, I don't know. I thought I had something, and then I did. Don't get a concussion,
There's
everyone.
nothing to have with them.
It's like it's rough.
It's the Raiders. There's
It's the
nothing
Raiders.
substantial I have with them.
What are the score lines? What are we looking at for the
40
Oh,
to
I haven't
7.
even looked.
40 to
40 to
7? I'm locking
7?
that one in,
That's
and I'm
my
not letting
pick.
you walk it back at all.
Let's go. I'm putting
Love
it
that.
down. Lock it in.
Love that energy.
40 to 7.
Chiefs.
Dang.
No,
All right.
no, thank you
Officially
for
lock it in.
clarifying. I wasn't sure
Yeah.
who you meant.
Yeah, thank God.
In case
Seriously, Raw. Whew.
What
in
about
case
you?
there's any
And
confusion.
right about who we're cheering for here. Oh man.
Oh
It's
my
too
God.
perfect.
Y'all too much. Y'all are too much. Okay, my score prediction. Let's say 38-13 for mine.
38-13. And
Mhm.
obviously, just to clarify, Chiefs, right?
Just to
Yeah,
clarify,
just to
I'm
clarify.
going Chiefs.
13, you said?
Nice.
Yes.
38-13. I mean, what is it? 25 plus points there. I mean, what, 33? Wow, I love it.
Okay. How about you?
Great
What
question.
says you?
All right, I'm noticing, if I keep it a little lower, Chiefs score higher. And to help the Chiefs out,
Uh-huh.
I'm going to go the 28 route for the Chiefs.
Okay.
Raiders, yeah. I'm going to say 14, just because it's not 13, I guess. I'd have
Yeah.
no other reason. Keep it a little different here. I think that a lot of their points will be field goals and not touchdowns. I can absolutely see
Right.
that. So be fun. It's going to be this is the kind of game like I'm excited about all week. I love.
That's why it's Raider Week.
Right, it's Raider week. I mean, this is over here quivering in anticipation. I'm always excited for a Chiefs game to come up, but like when it's the Raiders, it's a little something extra.
Yeah, for sure.
It'll be a lot of fun. So always a good time at Arrowhead too.
Absolutely. It will be rocky.
Monday night, y'all.
Monday
Woo-hoo.
night. The only other things I had, the horse teams get to play each other on Thursday, so that'll be a battle of who can suck more. Little
Oh my
Broncos
God.
Who's
versus
playing?
Broncos versus Colts.
The horses.
The horses.
Oh, that sounds terrible.
Yeah, I'm gonna be like,
Oh, okay. Why do the Broncos keep getting primetime games? They've had like 3 this year, right?
I just because they have Russell Wilson. Everyone thought they'd be the ones contending with, the
Yeah, like
Chargers and the Chiefs, and
flex that.
I,
I don't know if you
right?
can flex a Thursday game, but
I
find a
know
way.
I know you can flex Sunday night games. I don't think you can flex any of the others, which is
I don't think so either. It's wishful thinking.
It's
Mhm.
Yeah.
time to figure it out. Time to flex the Broncos out of every primetime game this season. Like, hopefully they don't have any more after this, because dear
Oh,
God,
get rid of
it
them.
is
it's been
it is
awful.
painful to
Yeah,
watch.
Mm-hmm.
it is. I'm
I-
agreeing.
Like, I'm not even hating on the Broncos as a Chiefs fan. It's been bad football.
Just
It's been bad football.
flat
It's like, why are
bad.
you putting this on primetime?
Oh no, you're absolutely correct. Yeah, it'd be nice to have a free Thursday though. Won't have to watch the game, so.
I'm still watching. I
I
mean,
I'm gonna hate
addicted
watching.
I'm addicted to this
You
game.
knew that was coming.
Oh yeah,
Yeah, I'm still
saw that one. Oh
gonna
man.
watch
You knew that was
for
coming.
fantasy reasons, if nothing else.
Exactly, right?
Jerry,
I
Judy,
mean, what else
let's
you gonna
go.
be doing? Yeah.
Hey, go Colts though. That's all I'll say. Absolutely.
Jonathan Taylor. Not speaking of fantasy, not doing much for me. Come
Not
on,
doing
buddy.
much. Come
Yeah.
on,
This
step
is
it up.
it. This is a
Yeah.
layup for you. The layup. You got to eat this week.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. Yeah, make it happen. Come on.
Yeah, run all over these guys. Sorry.
Run these donkeys into the ground. There we
Yeah,
go.
exactly.
There.
Let me calm down.
Right. It's like, oh man, Rob's going to be more excited about this game than I'm just going to be apathetic about it. I feel so. I love that. I'll follow Twitter. I'll turn notifications on from Raw on Twitter so
There
I
you
know
go.
what's happening in the game.
Oh God,
There you go.
I don't know if anyone wants like direct notifications from me. Like,
Why not? Could be
I
fun.
wouldn't wish that on my worst enemy.
Oh my gosh.
The only other bullet point I put in here, and Raw, you referred to it earlier, is just we talked about the NFC least. I'm starting to think that
Mhm.
we can't call them that anymore.
Nope, not currently.
Right.
I need to see more. The Eagles are really, like, to me, obviously solid. Everyone else, I still think is a question mark. I still think the Cowboys, even though they've won some games, they're still. I'm not sold on them. I'm not like Stephen A. Like Stephen A. is like, oh, they'll miss the playoffs or whatever. They might make the playoffs. Who knows? It's a long season, but
Stephen A. is still carrying resentment towards Skip, and that's why he's just never in on him.
yeah, it's an act.
Right. Oh yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, but I don't know. We'll see. But yeah, I think the Eagles are real. I'll definitely be looking forward.
Yeah.
They've got in 2 weeks. They've got a prime time. They've got the Sunday night game. It's Cowboys Eagles, August 16th. So that'll be one to look out for.
I think when it comes to the NFC East as a whole, the Eagles are obviously appearing to be real. We'll see how that carries through. I don't know if I'd rate them number one in the power rankings like a lot of people are, but I get it. I understand why people are. And like you said, Cowboys they're just surprisingly good. It's not like they're good. They're just they surprise you with good plays or whatever. I'm gonna say
they've squeaked out some wins, but I'm looking at. Let me see if I can pull up their last couple of games. I mean, they beat the Commanders 25-10. The Commanders trash. Yeah. Like no, you know what I'm saying. I don't expect much out of them.
Mm-hmm.
They beat the Giants before that 23-16.
Which
that probably shouldn't have been as close as it was. 20-17 against the Bengals. The Bengals aren't playing their best right now. So I'm not convinced yet.
Yeah, they need to show up against teams that are better than everyone you just read. But with the Giants though, Barkley seems to be coming back a little bit.
He is.
Yes, he does.
And I'm happy for him.
Mm-hmm.
He was what, number one draft pick?
If he wasn't number one, he was up there, like top 3. I think.
Yeah, and he's had a rough go at things, but I'm glad he's finally finding his footing again.
And yeah, so I obviously in week 4, and it's been one game where he really, really, exploded. He's had good games, what you would expect from an RB1 in a non-committee based group. But then, he
Right.
had this absolutely stellar game just recently here. If he carries that on, I think I'm a little more comfortable dropping the NFC least, just because,
Yeah.
you get the Giants and Cowboys playing good ball, you get the Eagles playing great ball, and then whatever the heck the Commanders are doing, who nobody seems to know, including
Right.
their 11 people on the field. Uh, but it's like more and more, I'm not convinced they're the worst in division, in the NFL. Um,
Mhm.
Yeah. I think for me, and going back to kind of like the Cowboys, I think the Eagles are, I'm not worried about them. I actually do think they're good. The
mhm,
Eagles are solid. I was looking at the next couple games on the Cowboys schedule. So they've got the Rams this week. The Rams aren't really looking like how that, they're not looking like the Super Bowl Rams right now. So to me, a win for them there says more about the Rams not being good than it does say about the Cowboys being good. Which I guess
mm,
if every other these leagues are every other one of these teams are underperforming, then by default that does make them one of the better teams in the league. So maybe
mhm.
I'm just talking out of my ass here. Like it's surprising that some of these teams are doing so bad, and I think some of these weaker teams look a little bit better because of it. But I guess that means they're not a weak team, right?
No,
Right.
it's
You
a
know what I'm
Right.
process
saying?
of elimination. Yeah.
Yeah.
Um,
So
would have
yeah,
to shout out RMR23 in our Discord, always active on the topics of discussion, which I appreciate. He made a really
thank you.
great point about the Eagles and it just like quarterbacks and teams in general. And it really does feel like now with the cast of quarterbacks that we have out there, and this is, essentially his point is, with the players like Allen, Mahomes, Brady, Rodgers. I mean, even going just a half step below with Stafford and Burrow. Those kind of with how heavy. The top heavy, the league is with these outstanding performing quarterbacks. It seems to be in order for you to be involved in the conversation as not just a great team, but as a great quarterback, you really do need that playoff win under your belt,
Mhm.
even if it's just one,
Hmm.
in order to prove that you're out there. Hurts doesn't have that, right? Right?
Right.
Am I about to look like an idiot and he's won one or something? No, he hasn't at all.
No, I don't think he's. Yeah, he hasn't won one yet.
So that's kind of where I stand with it. Is like, yeah, the Eagles are good. They're bordering great. I'll buy in when their season's on the line and he has to win. Not just a game, but a season, because I feel like that's really what separates the goods from the greats.
Right. Well, their defense looks pretty good too.
And hey, I mean, ask Brady how you win 6 rings. It's with a good
Yeah.
defense.
Yeah.
Yeah. But yeah, looks like some fun stuff. Best of the rest. Who's the primetime game next week?
All
The
right,
Sunday night game. I'm just curious.
the other games. Oh gosh, so we have the 8:30. I don't know if you count that as prime time when it's an 8:30 a.m. game, but it's the um, atypical one with the Giants and Packers.
Oh.
Sunday
Yeah,
Oh,
night.
that's
no, I
right.
don't. Yeah, that's not for me. I mean, that'll be. I am going to wake up and watch that just because I want to see, like you said, Barkley coming into his own. I like seeing that, so I'll definitely be watching that. But I don't think that's going to be like a barn burner
Must.
as you described it
Yeah.
last week. Or
hmm
we'll see. But it's the Bengals Sunday night games. Bengals Ravens. I am very interested in this game.
Yeah, for sure.
Division rivalry,
That's
and
what'll make it really good for sure. Because
yeah,
this will whoever wins that will be number one in the AFC North, right? Because Steelers are 1-3, and then what's Cleveland? They're 1-3 too. No, they're 2-2. Um,
which in itself is surprising. But
yeah,
yeah.
exactly. And they're playing the Chargers, so that'll be a fun game to watch too.
Who's the Cleveland's current quarterback?
Oh, you know, it's
I
Cleveland's
still
is,
it's still
I can't even think of his name.
Jacoby Brissett.
got
Thank
you.
you. Oh
Yeah.
my
No,
God.
I had to dig deep for that one. It was
Ooh.
um
Um,
yeah. Sorry.
and I apologize, y'all. I have to scoot.
Mm.
The boys are getting ready to walk through the door here.
Yeah,
So I have to scoot and get them
sure thing.
situated from their
Well,
trip. So I
you gave your
apologize.
yeah, you gave your predictions. So yeah, we'll definitely see
I
you next
sure
week.
did. Yes, I'll see you
Um,
guys next week. I'll let you guys close and wrap it up and all that good stuff. And I will catch you guys next week
Yes.
after another week of exciting games.
Heck yeah.
absolutely.
Talk to you later.
All right. Bye, guys.
And there she goes.
Yeah. And that's when we wrap up, right? Now we're done.
I mean, I was gonna
Pretty
say
much.
we're pretty much
Right, right, we're
anyway,
there.
but yeah, everyone there to get going. I was gonna ask if any of these other games are of no interest to you next week.
You know, gosh, I'm looking through it. I no. I think okay, Falcons Buccaneers might be a lot of fun. Um,
Interesting.
but I say that now while also full well knowing that Cordell Patterson's on IR now, and
Hmm.
he's kind of the person who makes the Falcons. So the fact that he won't be playing is enough for me to probably not even bother tuning into this game. If he was playing, I think I would put a higher priority because it'd be fun to see him against this, the Buccaneers defense. Um,
Yeah,
and then, I mean, just to keep leaning on the theme, Miami versus the Jets.
yeah.
If that's the game that's broadcast in, KC, I will probably turn it on to watch it all the way through because I don't think I'm doing anything Sunday. So that's my favorite noon game. Looking at the lineup,
Yeah,
especially with Tua out, be interesting to see if they take it to the Jets still, or if Zach Wilson does have this week to build the chemistry that he very clearly needs, and be the difference there. So this
yeah,
will, I think this will tell a lot about the state of both teams, the result of this game.
yeah. I was gonna say same. I hope this is the one they show. I think just looking at the schedule down here, I bet they'll end up showing Bills Steelers just because
Mm.
like it's the Bills right now. The Bills are red hot, but I would be interested in seeing that. Um, the Jets, yeah, like you said, it's kind of our darling right
Our,
now.
our our fun teams to watch, yeah. It's
Yeah,
I
but
went then looking at the 3 o'clock games. Yeah, nothing's really inspiring me too much at all,
yeah, they're
honestly.
definitely showing us Cowboys Rams, and I think again to me the Rams just look so bad. It's not gonna a Cowboys win there. It's not gonna tell me, oh shoot, the Cowboys are real. It's just gonna tell me
Hmm.
the Rams are a hot mess.
Absolutely,
So
fully
that's kind of
agree.
how I see that one.
Yeah, yeah, looking at these 3 o'clock games, I'm just not inspired at
Right.
all. It's which I almost feel like I can always find a game in a time slot that I want to watch. I I mean, Philly, Arizona, maybe. Because
That'd be
I
interesting.
because I could see that being like an Eagles trap game almost,
Yeah.
where like
Right.
Arizona's good enough that they can beat Philly, but Philly might be treating them with a little disrespect. Who knows if that's accurate or not, but I'm not scared of Arizona after what we did to them. So,
Battle of the former OU quarterbacks. There's
oh, see,
your intrigue
there's the headline.
for
Is it?
that. There we go.
um,
I'm trying.
no, I mean, I was thinking it's like, wait, isn't like half the NFL helmed by OU quarterbacks though, it seems. So,
There's a
I
lot
mean,
of them.
there's quite a few out
There's a
there.
lot.
Oh man.
Yeah.
Yeah, so, it's fine. I definitely have games on in the background and whatnot, like I always do. So it'll be good. And I'm sure I'll just, I'm saying these games look boring and then they're all going to be just absolute,
Bonkers.
mad fest that,
Yeah.
yeah, it's like I'm gonna be sad I missed all of them kind of thing. So I'm looking forward to that. Can't wait. And yeah, it's going to be a good week after we get past
Absolutely.
this Thursday night game, which I, can't just really trying hard to come up with a reason. Oh
Right.
man.
How
Uh,
you feel about the whole Amazon thing with that?
with Prime having the games,
Exclusive rights, yeah.
I I think I'm fine with it just because I have Amazon Prime and I'll probably always have Amazon Prime. Um,
Right.
for better or worse. I know there's good reasons to boycott it, but
For sure.
I'm always going to have access to it, so it doesn't bother me that they have exclusive rights. I think it is indicative of where things are starting to shift when it comes to TV as a whole.
Right.
And the one thing that these streaming services always have lagged behind um, actual cable TV or broadcast television, it has been sports, right? Um,
For sure.
they're now starting to take on Hollywood with their movies and doing great there, and then they're also starting to grab onto um, streaming these games now. Soccer wise, like Paramount Plus is out there with the Champions League in Europe, with Italy's league, and then you got Peacock who has the EPL. ESPN Plus has the Bundesliga, so they've got a real the internet streamers have a real monopoly. It feels on foreign sports coming over to the U.S. It'll be interesting to see how then those same groups, the ESPNs, the Prime, the Paramount and Peacock, uh, how they can get their hands on some of these games, and will it be exclusive or whatever? Because I know right now, like with Paramount Plus, they're owned by CBS, or CBS owns them, or whatever it is. You can watch CBS games, football games on Paramount Plus, and same thing with Peacock and NBC games. Fox doesn't really have an equivalent, so it'll be interesting to see how that changes in the future. And then what I would just love is, while broadcast television should still uh, be a space where people can catch games, especially local games. I feel like that's super important to have ease of access to local games. Um, Me as somebody who lives on the internet, I love this evolution.
Absolutely.
Yeah, and I stole the
Yeah.
mic there for about 10 minutes. So what about you?
No, 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 absolutely. No, I agree. I actually agree with you. I think it's the way everything's going. So it was only a matter of time sports started to get their footing in. And I think it's worked out pretty well for the most part. As far as like streaming, I mean, I'm a Prime member too, so I don't have any issues with the streaming. I wouldn't know if it, so there was a bunch of memes going out about people who are less tech savvy trying to find the game. I don't know how prevalent that is. That would be interesting number to see. But apparently that they're pretty satisfied with it too. That's exceeding expectations. So
and and so I don't know this. Can you watch the Thursday night game if you're not a Prime member, or do you have to have a Prime sub? I can't remember how it works, but I'm sure it's a case where you have to have a Prime membership. Um, I would be interested to see if the NFL ever made a move saying, look, you're still getting commercial revenue from this. Um, do something to make, these Amazon Prime specific exclusive games more accessible to individuals who maybe are not just, unable to afford Prime, but also people who make the conscious decision to not directly support Amazon,
right.
um, for whatever reasons that they may have, right or wrong. Um, I would love to see the NFL try to do something to help make those games more accessible to people who do not have Amazon Prime. Will they do it? No,
Yeah.
because it's a cash bag, but I would like it.
It would be a nice gesture, but you're right, they won't.
They won't.
Yeah. But yeah, that's all I got. I mean, we got more games coming up. It's week 5, plenty of football left on the year, so
It's the
it's gonna be a
last
fun
week
ride.
before bye weeks start too. So
Yes,
last time you can see every
that's
team
right.
play in one week.
Yep.
The only time a bye week affects me is when the Chiefs have bye week, so I don't, whatever. But
I was
uh,
gonna say fantasy implications there for
fantasy
sure, and of
implications,
course when the Chiefs play, but
which
yeah,
I almost forgot to talk about. I don't know if you saw my mom's score. She lost by point 0.9 and was not happy
no,
about that.
two.
I can't. I think she's playing against. No, I closed it all. I have no idea. I can't remember now. Uh, yeah.
Wow,
And she's going to be hurting on that Chiefs bye week, that's for sure. So it's going to be
for sure.
see those tears coming through. No, yeah, sorry. Had to backtrack there. So um,
Well,
fantasy
yeah, man.
implications, good stuff.
Yeah, let them know where to find you.
Yeah, at Chef Doubles on Twitter, best place for all my interactions. To try to tweet at the very least during the Chiefs games, if not during every NFL game that I'm watching. And then, anything that comes out during the week, news-wise there. So feel free to follow me on that. And what about you?
So you can follow me on Instagram and Twitter at The Almighty Ra. You follow our show on Twitter at SOT Kingdom KC. Please follow our show on YouTube. Please hit that like and subscribe button. We'd love to have you. Right now, we really new episodes are going to be mainly on YouTube, but that will change soon.
Mhm.
So please just come on there for that. Leave a comment. Tell us we're wrong. We're happy to hear it.
Or support my call that the Jets are going to win the AFC East. I need more people on my side with this
yeah,
thing.
give us your hottest
Hottest takes.
NFL take coming into Week 5. Let's hear it. That's what that's what I want. Everyone, just drop your hottest takes in the
Yes,
comments.
I love that.
But
Awesome.
yeah, yeah, another good week of football. Can't complain. We're gonna roll into Week 5 and keep this thing going. Keep this thing going.
Great, great. Well, hey, until next time then.
Absolutely. Thank y'all for listening in. Everyone have a good night. Go Chiefs.
Go Chiefs.